touch your hair? You speak English really well. You're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Why do you talk like you're white? Why don't you just straighten your hair? Racism is over. We had a black president. Why are black people so... You guys seriously need to get over slavery. I don't see you as black, but you don't act black. You're not really black, are you? You're white on the inside, right? Like a coconut or an Oreo. You know that itch? That teeny tiny one that you can't get to, that you can't get rid of, that you can't scratch, that you can't forget? How can such a small thing eat away at someone? And what is the deal with them being called microaggressions anyway, because they don't feel that way to me? A microaggression is a subtle but offensive comment or action that is directed at a marginalized or non-dominant group that may or may not be intentional, that unconsciously reinforces a stereotype. They are so ingrained in our everyday society that it's hard to tell them apart. See, these things don't feel mini, meager, microscopic. They don't feel like microaggressions at all. They feel mammoth and major and massive because I'm bombarded with them every time I step outside the door. I can't get through the school day without white hands inviting themselves into my hair like they own this, like they own me. So no, microaggressions are not just everyday insults that may or may not be offensive that target marginalized people. Thanks, but that doesn't cut it. And I guess you could say that I'm being dramatic, way too serious, blowing things out of proportion. Like, to this day, I don't even know why I can't just take a joke. Maybe because it isn't funny, or because it's offensive, or maybe because you said it and didn't even realize you were saying it. You were oblivious to the harm that your comment caused, and I think that's the worst part. Not the fact that I found it harmful, hurtful, and offensive, but the fact that you said it and you resumed conversation like it never even happened. It was so subtle that your privilege blinded you to the fact that you might have just put your foot in your mouth. If you're so good at explaining yourself, whether it be to tell me that I'm overreacting or that you were just kidding, then tell me this. How can such small things eat away at someone? Or, better yet, why is it that when you utter a microaggression, it leaves a bitter taste in my mouth? But look, I'm not here to just whine or pull the race card. Here are a few tips and tricks to help you avoid a microaggression. Number 1, if you think something is racist, it probably is. Opt for not saying anything at all. Number 2, if you really don't understand the concept of a microaggression, Google it. Educate yourself for God's sakes, but no, this does not mean ask the next person of color you see about it, because that's a microaggression too. Number 3, this is for everyone out there that doesn't think microaggressions are a big deal, that I'm being too sensitive, that are probably rolling their eyes into the back of their heads right now. If you're going to be offensive, at least be original about it. Looking at me every time a teacher mentions MLK or asking if this is my real hair is so last year. If you're going to be rude, at least make it interesting. One last thing. My voice is not the voice of every person of color out there. What I said up here tonight does not reflect the thinking of every black person in this room or in this country or on this planet. We are not a monolith and do not deserve to be treated as one.
Keep going!
Can I touch your hair? You speak English really well. You're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Why do you talk like you're white? Remember that itch? That one that's constant, inescapable, and unforgiving?